he wasn't with me. Keith Lee.
Okay. Hey, want to come on here. My name is Kim Brooks, national bestselling author of several books. Wanted to give my take on the Keith Lee situation with Sweetly Seasoned and the owner of Sweetly Seasoned. I just found out what happened yesterday while scrolling through TikTok. And it's very sad situation because I've seen Keith Lee's videos. I love him. I love what he's doing for the businesses that he blesses. I love his heart. I love his family. He's from Detroit like me, so Motown in the house. We're both Libras. We lead with love. I love him. He is a blessing. His family is a blessing. And I believe his intention of doing what he did was only to bless, to be a blessing. You know, there's a saying, we're blessed to be a blessing. And I feel Keith Lee and his family embody that. Now, as it pertains to, I saw the videos. I saw many of them. I heard different perspectives. I do see both sides. However, what the owner of Sweetly Seasoned was lacking in that moment was integrity. It was integrity. Now, Keith Lee, when he gave her the $4,000. He puts it on his card for convenience sake. I'm sure record keeping and all that good stuff. They used the merchant services processing thing. He gave her specific instructions. He said, from this $4,000, I want you, because here's the thing. Keith Lee and his family are coming up and he sees it looks like, I'm sure to him, it looked like a small community. He didn't know that this wasn't a regular thing. It sounded like word got out that Keith Lee was coming. And so people just started to kind of set things up because they wanted to meet him, be in the atmosphere. And like he said, barber cutting hair, person braiding hair, all outside, you know, and someone feeding everyone, Sweetly Seasoned. He didn't know if this was a weekend thing or everyday thing. To him, it just looked like community, that they were all prospering together because he has a good heart. He feels like everyone's prospering together. This is a great thing. I want to bless everyone in this area, in this community. I want to be a blessing. When he gave her the $4,000, he said to the owner heard it, and I know the other young lady, she was there. She was marketing with the going live. She came to assist, and he said to give $1,000 to the barber so he can cut heads for free. He also said to give $1,000 to the other the other business person. I believe it was either the braider or it was another person. So instead of simply doing as instructed, they would have been able to keep the two, and he gave an additional $880 something. Instead of keeping the tip and keeping what he said, the $2,000, and dispersing the one and the other one, the owner took it upon herself to keep the money. Now, that's surface level. That's why everybody's upset. Oh, she kept the money. She was supposed to give it out. She didn't give it out. That's surface level. Digging deeper. Apparently, the person that was cutting hair left to, I believe the young lady said she had to pick up his son or something like that. So he did not end up staying to cut heads, from what I gathered from the videos I saw. He did not end up staying to cut additional heads. When Keith Lee said, here's $1,000 so he can cut heads for free, I did the math. I think that equaled about 40 heads, because I believe Keith Lee mentioned that he was charging $40, or someone mentioned that it was $40 for a haircut. So I believe my math may be off. 40 heads, something like that. Oh Lord, y'all gonna make me want to put in the comments if my math is off. But so when it's like $1,000, so his intention, Keithley's intention, was to be a blessing, so the community have fresh haircuts, fresh braids, look good, feel good, right? Now, there was a statement made by Keithley at the end when he said, "Do with it as you will." That statement should not have been included, because that's where it got dicey. Because the son of the Sweetly Seasoned owner, who was the one that asked Keithley to come by video and email and all that, when Keithley said, "Do with it as you will," yes, it is one could conclude on the outside looking in that when he said that, because even when I heard it, I was like, when I first heard it, everything was clear. 4,000, give 1,000 to the barber, give 1,000 there, you keep the rest. And then when he added, "Do with it as you will," that's when it got a little dicey, because now the son is saying, Keithley said, "Do with it as you will." And then not only that, the promise wasn't kept on the end of the barber to stay and cut those additional heads. He left. So the business owner, she's thinking, well, he didn't stay to cut remaining heads, he's gone. So she made the decision to keep the money. She made the executive decision to keep the money because the barber wasn't there to cut the additional heads. Now, I'm not sure what happened to the other thousands she was supposed to give out, but here's where she went wrong. Integrity says for the owner of Sweetly Seasoned to give the barber the money because he instructed her to do so. He gave specific instructions. I would go by that. Even with the sentence at the end that kind of threw things off, I would still, integrity says, he said in the beginning, and then Keithley clarified, he said he meant do it with it as you will as far as whatever method of payment. That was not clear. So she kept the money. Integrity says give him the money even if he left, because now it's on him to be integrous. Now he has the $1,000. So going forward, he may not have done it that day, but he still could have the next day. I don't know if he owns a barbershop or if he does it in his house or wherever, in the basement or whatever. Integrity for him would be, I can cut so many heads worth $1,000 because Keithley gave me this $1,000 and he wanted me to cut heads for free. That's on him to be integrous with that $1,000. But it was on the Sweetly Seasoned owner to just give him the money. That was her integrity that she missed out on. She kept the money, which now gives the appearance of greed. The Word of God talks about we are to shun the appearance of evil. Greed is one of the deadly sins, right? So she decided to keep the money, give some to her son, and only keep it for herself because she's like, I don't know them people. That's my son's friends. They're not part of my family. They're not part of this business. You're overthinking, young lady. Keithley told you specifically what to do with the money. So my time is running out. I don't want to do a part 2. What's the lesson in all of this? Going forward, and I'm sure Keithley is reflecting and thinking how it could have been a better situation. So my suggestion for Keithley, because it sounds like a lot of assumptions were made. He assumed they were all together. I saw another video where he possibly assumed they were all related. Too many assumptions were made. He didn't know that they all represented different businesses, or even if he did know, that's fine. He gave her specific instructions, but he didn't know that if she was the owner of that whole area. That's like giving one business money and there's like an expo and you say, and you're just the vendor, and someone says give somebody in the whole thing all the money. That's normally done to the owner of the whole venue to do it that way. Keithley didn't know. He assumed. So going forward, my suggestion, give each person the money individually. Do a credit card to Sweetly Seasoned for $2,000. Go up to the barber, give them $1,000. Go up to the braider, give them $1,000. Do not give the responsibility to one person who, unfortunately, is not always honest. So that's the lesson, but I pray for both of them. What's y'all thoughts and comments?